We told you from the moment that Donald Trump claimed that boycotting was illegal, that they were going to conflate boycotting and protest with terrorism and violence. So just to remind you, people keep saying, we keep talking about boycotts, and they keep saying, you can't light a Tesla on fire. Nobody's arguing that, but they want you to make that connection. So Trump, from very early on, when the obvious happened and people started boycotting Tesla, which you could have seen coming a mile away, Trump says the radical left lunatics, as they often do, are trying to illegally and collusively boycott Tesla, one of the world's great automakers and Elon's baby, in order to attack and do harm to Elon. Well, they're really starting to pull out all the stops to protect their baby, Elon. Now, you might know this site. They're kind of the main coordinators of legal, lawful, nonviolent protests. TeslaTakedown.com says right there, a peaceful protest movement. This Saturday, they are coordinating or involving themselves in a massive protest against Tesla. That is this Saturday, March 29th. And I can announce now we are going to cover it live from the Manhattan protest here in New York, which will be down near the High Line in Chelsea. 277 Tesla locations in the US, 500 plus around the world. That is this Saturday. So you can very easily, if you're wondering if there's an action near you, they have a little map there. You can put in the zip code, and they'll give you a very convenient list of where you can go near you to be involved in that protest. Here's some of their text. On March 29th, 2025, we are calling for a global day of action to stop Musk. Join us. Elon Musk is destroying our democracy, and he's using the fortune he built at Tesla to do it. We are taking action at Tesla to stop Musk's illegal coup. Sell your Teslas, dump your stock, join the picket lines. All legal. Everything there is perfectly legal, and I would argue very American. We're tanking Tesla's stock price to stop Musk. Last I heard, a lot of people involved in MAGA, and certainly the conservative movement as a whole, were salivating every time Target's stock price dropped.
Right.
So all this talk about rooting against an American company, Disney, they love seeing Disney stock price tank, right? Stopping Musk will help save lives and protect our democracy. The stakes couldn't be higher. No one is coming to save us. Not politicians, not the media, not the courts. Tesla Takedown is a peaceful protest movement. We oppose violence, vandalism, and destruction of property. This protest is a lawful exercise of our First Amendment right to peaceful assembly. Right there in black and white. And there has been no accusation that Tesla Takedown has been responsible for any action. That's why you don't see the people behind the website being locked up by Patel and the rest of his crew. Believe me, they would if they could, and I wouldn't put it past them as time goes on. So John Cusack, who took part in a video teleconference that they did a few years ago promoting this, he put this out on Instagram, and you have some rather confused politics here in the response. Is Vlad paying you, or are you rolling pro bono? Now, this is, I don't get it. I don't get it. Is this like a MAGA Russia gator? Is this
Yeah.
someone who didn't get the memo that Trump wants to cool things off with Vlad? This person doesn't seem to have a very clear political perspective. And here, it's funny, the term snowflake gets thrown around a lot at the libs, but anyone who has dealt with some of the MAGA crowd, they are at least as bad, if not worse. Reported as violence. Reported as violence. Peaceful protest. Peaceful protest. Turn out to protest. I thought we're all for the First Amendment and stuff.
Right.
Um, Elon, please make sure President Trump knows about Tesla Takedown Day on March 25th. The National Guard needs to be at all Tesla locations because on Blue Sky, they're threatening Molotov cocktails and shootings, and it's going to be in hundreds of locations. Stay safe. Now, if there's one bright spot, it's in the intellectual quality of these people because actually it's on the 29th. It's not on March 25th. Now, with that level of accuracy, she is a shoo-in to a job at Pete Hegseth's Pentagon for sure.
Yeah.
She should apply. And in terms of the claims that Ms. Dickinson is making, I'd like to see the screenshots of that because certainly if Blue Sky were awash in people threatening Molotov cocktails and shootings, I think we'd be seeing them all over X, and I haven't seen anything like that. Now, don't tell me there's one schmuck in Sheboygan who tweeted out something like that. Sure, but is this something that people are doing en masse with Bondi just dying to prosecute somebody? I don't think so.
I mean, obviously not. I mean, it's just the most absurd thing. But this is what creates that chilling effect. This is what creates the
Yes.
chilling effect.
Exactly. All right. So Laura Loomer here sends out Jasmine Crockett appeared on this video conference. And she claims that this is, she should be censured for domestic terrorism. So I'm going to show you the clip that she put out and that many others circulated. And then I'm going to show you the rest of what she says that's not in the clip.
I keep it short, but I am truly here for very selfish reasons. Starting with on March 29th, it's my birthday. And all I want to see happen on my birthday is for Elon to be taken down. Yes. Listen, I have learned as I serve on the Doge Oversight Committee that there is only one language that the people that are in charge understand right now. And that language is money. And so I've been so proud to see us organized behind a cause.
Okay, so you have to really distort what she said, even there, to interpret that as a call for violence. But of course, that's never stopped them before. So, Elon, wow. She broke the law. Relevant section here, advocating for violence against people. That is what they're calling advocating for violence. So let's pick it up from how that clip would continue if they didn't cut it where they did, which even that really does not back up what they're claiming. But let's hear the rest.
And so I've been so proud to see us organized behind a cause because here's the deal. The things that we're fighting for, we are fighting for our country. We're fighting for democracy. We're fighting for our freedoms. And when I say fighting, I'm saying that figuratively. Obviously, everything that I am promoting is nonviolent. And so definitely don't want anyone to take that word literal in any way. But I think that
That's weird that they didn't include the rest of what she was saying. It's just another 20 seconds. Why did they cut it there? Here's another clip of her talking about this on MSNBC.
So, yeah, I'm excited to see that Elon Musk, that his money as it relates to Tesla, well, Tesla's tanking right now. And I'm okay with that. So just in case the slow people listening decide to clip this up later, I just want to say that I have never promoted violence whatsoever. Yet I've also never made excuse for those violent actors, such as the ones on January 6th.
Oh no, she went there. Well, Pam Bondi is not going to take I'm against violence for an answer. No, she won't.
This Congresswoman Crockett, who is calling for attacks on Elon Musk on her birthday. Let's take him out on my birthday, she says. And yet she turns and says, oh, I'm not calling for violence. Well, she is an elected public official. And so she needs to tread very carefully because nothing will happen to Elon Musk. And we're going to fight to protect all of all of the Tesla owners throughout this country, and it's just basic safety. Once again, domestic terrorism is going to come to a stop in our country.
Okay, so you could see pretty clearly what they're doing here. If you hear what Crockett said, it's all about peaceful protest. She emphatically talks about being against violence and not supporting any kind of violent action. But to listen to Bondi, you wouldn't know any of that. You would think she wants to equate calling for protest, calling for boycotts with calling for violence, even though you can clearly see that's not at all what she said. And Patel, predictably, jumping on board the bandwagon. The FBI has been investigating the increase in violent activity toward Tesla, and over the last few days, we have taken additional steps to crack down and coordinate our response. This is domestic terrorism. Those responsible will be pursued, caught, and brought to justice. Now, some of the responses were maybe not what he was going for. Weren't you going to shut down the FBI? Can you all focus on protecting all Americans, not just Elon's car dealerships? These are state level issues. Where's the Epstein list? Where indeed? I wouldn't hold my breath, my friend. We knew
I think we were too hard on that guy, don't you think?
Too hard on him.
Yeah.
We knew as soon as Trump said that this is where they were going to go, and I would bet hard currency, maybe not American. The dollar's looking a little shaky right now. I would bet hard Bitcoin that this weekend on the 29th, when there are these massive protests around the country, they're going to try to arrest peaceful protesters under the premise that they're terrorists. I will be very surprised if they do not try to test how far they can push that this weekend.
Yeah, which is part of the reason why we want to cover it, because, and I'm sure we won't be the only people there, but, it's important to have cameras on so that if somebody gets dragged out of there and gets accused of doing something they didn't do, that there's some evidence of them not doing anything. Maybe that'll stop them from being sent to CCOT in El Salvador. Maybe it won't. But the more evidence that you have, obviously, the stronger a case can be made to whoever may be willing to hear it. I mean, these people are just thugs. They are just gangsters. This is just gangsterism. Pam Bondi, she should tread lightly. She's a congresswoman.
Right.
She has the right to advocate for any policy
anybody.
she wants, who went out of her way to clarify unnecessarily, in my view. I mean, we're going to fight for this is common political speak. Fight doesn't necessarily mean physically fight, but she knows what absolute reprehensible scum run the government right now. And so she felt the need to clarify, even after making such a benign statement, I'm not calling for violence. They say she has to tread lightly anyway because they want people to be afraid to speak against them.
Yes.
They want people, they are being intentionally thuggish. They're saying you ought to tread lightly because even if you don't do anything, we are the kind of people who are going to suggest that you did something, whether you did or didn't. And look at the liberties we've already taken in terms of deporting legal asylum seekers to torture prisons in El Salvador, right? That could happen to you if we decide we want it to. That's the message that they're sending. It's pretty unmistakable.
Right. And in the end, they're bound to lose because you can't make people buy a Tesla. You can suppress the protests all you want. He has destroyed his customer base, and his new MAGA friends are not in the market for a Tesla.
Yeah.
The working class base that they stole from the Democrats, and that the Democrats, through their own actions, certainly did everything they could to push away. I'm not letting them off the hook. But hey, man, they can't afford a Tesla. Those people are not. They don't want a Tesla. They're into. There's a cultural mismatch between this electric car company and MAGA. You've been running around talking about how the electric cars are unnecessary and climate change is a hoax and the gas-powered cars are better, your base is not going to all of a sudden become the new customer base for a Tesla. So Tesla is cooked. And all of this is really flailing as if they suppress these protests. It's going to save Elon's car company. And remember, the reason to do this, the reason that I certainly support these efforts within their peaceful First Amendment, peaceful protest stated intentions. The reason I support it is because it's with the Tesla stock that he funds everything else. That's the cash cow. That's the golden goose. This is why they're so desperate to stop this. Because if you metaphorically take down Tesla, if you take down the stock through peaceful protest and through consumer boycott, Elon loses a lot of that power. And when you look at the way he's been exercising that power, yes, the Tesla takedown site is right. No one's coming to save us. We have to save ourselves. And that is one legal, peaceful way that we can take action.
Yep, absolutely. And yeah, I think it's look, I think protesting Tesla is a great thing. I think you should be ashamed to drive around in a Tesla now. You should feel shame for driving around in one of those cars now. You should not feel fear. You should not be made to feel afraid or threatened or anything. That's over the line, obviously. But yeah, no, you should feel bad about yourself pulling out of the driveway in a Tesla car now. What do these people think they could do? So you think you can roll out the red carpet? Forget roll out the red carpet. That's even a bad metaphor. In fact, there's no metaphor necessary. You literally allow the richest man in the world to buy the government, and then you get fucking indignant about people organizing against his product line. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Right.
Are you kidding me?
These are the same people who boycott Disney,
of course,
and Tesla, and
of course,
Disney and Target and Bud Light. Same people.
Yep. Yep.
NFL,
and the people who
same people.
The people who carry water for them, the peanut gallery. I mean, just the most pathetic people on earth.
Yes.
The lowest of the low. Worse than the libs. Worse. Way worse. Yep. Suggesting that it's un-American or traitorous.
That sounds like treason. That sounds like treason to me.
No, the absolute worst of the worst. Just really, really, really pathetic.
Please clap.